Hi there, I'm Lisa Redfern. This is Gingersnap episode 43. I'm here at Frontier with Sean Morin. Who is Sean Morin? Sean Morin is a composer. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a teacher. He's a producer, and he's also programming director for Frontier. We're here in Frontier. If you've been here, you can sort of tell that that's where we are. So Sean is, he's got his hands in a lot of things, and that's what I think a true Mainer is. It's someone who's juggling about 6 things to kind of make life work here in Maine. So tell them what's up for you right now. What are you working on?
Well, aside from the amazing day-to-day happenings at Frontier, which involves film programming and music programming, and then community events that I'm bringing in from the Brunswick Bath area, and also the catchment goes all the way to either Portland or beyond, or Augusta and beyond. I'm also working on some music, which I want to be careful about saying, because right now I'm actually in this sort of interesting hiatus period from performing a whole lot, and I'm working on composing a lot more, which comes with a swath of new sort of puzzle pieces to work with. The biggest one being that when you're composing, unless you're getting a grant from an arts organization or getting commissioned for certain pieces to write, it comes with having to pay a lot of players, and your time isn't getting accounted for financially in the same capacity. Right. But in 2016, I kind of made that like my end all be all, that I'm gonna make more of an effort to write more and to spend more time investing in paying players to play large-scale pieces of music, or even small-scale pieces of music like chamber works. So I'm working on a record right now that entails just that, which is a large-scale piece for the Fog Cutters Big Band. Right. 18 pieces is probably what we used in the in this particular ensemble, but they have 20 or 21. I didn't write for the vocalists. This is just the instrumentalists. And then I'm also going to pair that on an album eventually, probably in the next year or so, with some orchestral chamber works as well. Jeez,
whoa, that's a lot.
It's a lot to think about. It's actually not that much when it comes down to like actual paper work. But
wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And so how can people get a hold of you if they just want to hire you to play or to compose something?
Yeah, I'd love to compose more. Please contact me at seanmorinmusic.com. I would say the performance thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Maine musician, you've probably heard of the circle of musicians that we all know.
Yeah.
If you don't know that circle, get on in. We all want to play more. We all want to connect with each other.
Yeah.
And you can just reach out to me at seanmorinmusic.com.
Okay, perfect, great. So when did you first come to Maine?
I was born and raised in Lewiston.
Okay.
Lewiston, Auburn. I moved away for a short bit when I was younger. My mom and my grandparents on my mother's side of the family have a passion for Florida. That is absolutely not my passion. And I think when I came back to Maine after living there for a short bit, I realized that was really, this is my people. This is my place.
Yeah. Feels like the right place for you to be.
Yeah, I went away for college in Boston, that telltale story, and I again came back with that same feeling again. I can't see myself moving away. Yeah, I can't shake it. Not unless there is, like a New York, LA thing in the cards, and there was for a small moment, and I think I'm okay with existing here.
Yeah, good. Well, Maine is glad to have you, Sean. So, do you know your first word, speaking of your childhood?
My first word. I knew you were going to ask this.
And if you don't, what do you think it might have been?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that my first word was probably mom or dad.
Yeah.
But I don't know that for certain.
Yeah.
I shot a text to my mom this morning and didn't get an answer back. But I'll say this. So a word that I know was important back then
right.
was the word body. but and I would say it body instead of body.
Body?
Yeah, body.
Yeah.
But I was referring to a pumpkin. I would always call. There had this like strange misconception. I didn't like put the two and two together. Maybe someone said the word body when I was around a pumpkin, but I assimilated that. Yeah,
that's so cute.
Yeah, and my parents, whenever there's a pumpkin around, they still, I'm 32 years old.
It's hard
still
to shake
say that.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, family will bring all that stuff back again and again. All right, well, my first word, I should say, was cookie. And I know this because I looked at my baby book a couple years ago, and I thought, isn't that funny? I love cookies. And that was my first word. So here on this fancy bag, we're going to show you. These are the Metropolitan cookies from the Union Bakery and Cake Shop, which is right here on Union Street. They've opened, I think they opened a few months ago. So go ahead.
This is me right here.
Yeah. So this has got chocolate chips, cranberry, a really chewy chocolate. Oh, there's oatmeal in here.
Mm-hmm.
There's I want to say a little bit of coconut.
It's a little bit like one of those cowboy cookies I hear about. Have you ever heard of those?
Does that have salt on it too? The cowboy cookie?
Maybe not. No. This is delicious.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, it's a little underbaked in the middle.
Really good. Yeah, so I am a huge fan of this new bakery. So if you live in Bath Brunswick, get yourself over there. I walked in there this morning and just about got knocked over by how incredible it smelled in there. They had bread and scones and cakes and cookies and all kinds of stuff. It was really, really good.
The smell of a bakery.
I know.
Not a force to be reckoned with. I should say this. I'm trying not to eat refined sugar as much right now.
Well, me too.
And I'd forgotten that this was like an integral part of Gingersnap.
Oh, shoot. Well, you don't have to eat the whole thing.
No, I will, because it's impossible for me not to. That's kind of like the point. It's like,
I didn't want
it's in my hand.
Totally throw you off here.
It's done. It's done.
It's a foregone conclusion. It's over. Okay, so moving on to some of my favorite subjects. Did you have a car in your childhood that was really cool, or in your adolescence, I should say? Because some people didn't have a cool car as a kid, but they had a really cool one when they got to drive or something. And if you could get it back, would you get it back?
I think I only had two cars that sort of painted my childhood. One was the family Dodge Intrepid, which was this big sort of boat of a car.
Such
you
a
hear
great
this,
name.
right? I know all the names of cars are like these, like I feel like, my car now
very
is
masculine.
a Matrix. And I feel like all of them refer to that, like, these intrepidatious people, and we're going into the Matrix, and, but that wasn't the car that really, like, did it for me. I think the car that I probably want to reference was the car after that, which was my first standard vehicle, and it's made me a standard user for life, if possible. Although I probably see a Prius on the horizon. Those don't have any standards.
No.
It was a Mazda Protege, a 93 Mazda Protege. And it was just this, like, square box, and it was made of metal, which, cars aren't really made of metal anymore. Yeah. And I felt really safe in it, and it somehow fit all of my gear, which is incredible because I have a lot, and it fit like this large keyboard and this large amp in the trunk. The keyboard went in the back seat on the floor, and I just remember loving it, and it was so small. It had this ability, I don't know that it was actually like G-force rated, but it had like, you could go from 0 to 60 in like no time at all.
Well, that's right.
Dangerous.
Well, that's what you want. Yeah.
You don't. I mean, like, as a child, you should not.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But I liked it.
Did you have siblings?
I have, they're effectively my siblings, my stepbrother and stepsister. I don't even like to refer to them as that, but for posterity, we'll say that they are that. And each of them were respectively 2 years older than the other. So my brother was 2 years older than my sister, and she was 2 years older than me. So
car trips?
Car trips, a little bit, and like I said, that family vehicle got passed down, so we all had it.
That's good. I love
cars.
I often will hear stories of people's crashes. Yeah, I had my brother's car, but I wrecked it. Yeah. So, is there a book? I always assume that musicians are like I am, readers, and some are and some aren't. But
I'm illiterate.
It's neither here nor there. But do you have? You're illiterate.
I'm illiterate. I can actually only read music. It's actually not even true. I'm a horrible reader when it comes to both words of music.
Well, has there been a book in the last couple of years that you've read that you have said to friends, "Oh, you got to read this"? And it's okay if you don't.
Jeez, I'm not much of a literary suggester.
It sounds so official. A literary suggester. Yeah.
I think maybe the books that I'm most interested in were like in my 20s, and they painted this sort of like factual based, slightly mixed with this otherworldly feel. Mm-hmm. I think they're defined as magical realism.
Yeah.
Super into that. I still read a lot of that today. Mm-hmm. Murakami is one of the probably leaders of that genre going forward into this next century. Mm-hmm. But back in the early 20th century, there was this sort of like, Marquez, and I don't know if you know Mikhail Bulgakov, who did The Master and Margarita.
No.
That book is so good. It's a thick one, but it's like the devil comes down to earth, and he is a man, and he goes through this Russian town, and he just sort of causes chaos by everyone that he meets. They all fall into this sort of like panic-driven like chaos state, and each person perpetuates another story that leads to another bit of chaos, and it's this like string of chaotic events. There's a cat that speaks and runs this sort of circus.
Wow.
That's probably a book that
sounds like an animation or a book that would work well transformed into an animation.
Yeah, I feel like it
maybe is.
has. yeah, or it's spun into like movies that have wanted to take on to that kind of role. Oh, it's a great book. It also goes back and forth between the history of, I don't know if it's, I think it's like a fake history of Jesus and Pontius Pilate. And like that, I know it's strange. From chapter to chapter, like this crazy like magical realist moment, and then the next chapter is this sort of biblical historical thing.
Wow, cool. I love this because I'm finding out about all these books I didn't know about, and it's great.
Yeah,
that's why
you'll have to give me a list of
your
suggestions, right? You have 42 suggestions now.
I do.
Or 43.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so moving on to music, a subject that we both love. Is there an album or a song that you come back to sort of as a leitmotif or a touchstone in your life that has meant a lot to you? And you don't have to pick just one. No one can really pick just one.
Right. So I'm a musician. The hardest thing for a musician to do. I think the problem is that every time that I want to give a suggestion or say what my end-all be-all is, I'm afraid that I'm going to miss something, and that won't speak to like my personhood as like my story as a musician. Like, oh my God, how did I miss this like quintessential thing that made me who I am?
Yeah.
God, that's a hard one, Lisa. Maybe
you could pick a couple.
Like seasonally.
Okay.
Does that work?
Sure.
So like summertime, I'm usually lighthearted and like. I like listening to, Beyonce, and James Blake's new record is fantastic. And his previous records really speak to me. The Tune Yards. Have you gotten into Meryl Garbus?
No, I haven't.
You love her. Being the singer that you are, she's like this. She has this collective down in New York called Roomful of Teeth. And you've heard of them?
My friend Brad Wells from college. Hi, Brad. He's the director of Roomful of Teeth.
Meryl Garbus is one of the, of the leads.
So then I heard her because last year they were here. They were at Bowdoin, and I went to hear them.
Okay, she may not have been there for that particular performance.
Okay.
Well, I know that she's in that scene and she plays it. It's a collective, so it's like who's here? Are you free this time? That kind of thing.
Exactly. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're like super dope, great singers.
And they won the Grammy.
Yeah, I mean, that's they played at Mass Mocha. She was part of that. Have you ever been to Mass Mocha?
No.
The Museum of Contemporary Art
I haven't.
in like super far western, almost New York.
You know what? I haven't. I have a friend who's a curator there.
God, they're so
I know.
great.
I should get over there.
Yeah. Anyway, so Tune Yards and Meryl Garbus, the summertime. But then, as we get into fall, I feel like I drift into this like pensive state. And I watched that one with Connor Garvey, and he reminded me that Anais Mitchell is like one of my absolute go-tos. She has a couple records, one that she did with Jefferson Hammer. Is that the guy's name? God, I could. Is that a song
Yeah.
that you know?
Yeah. Well, I met him last summer at Sweet Cherry. Sorry,
that
I didn't
makes
mean to
sense.
keep name dropping, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him last summer.
So
Yeah.
she has an album with
think that's
him
a song.
called The Child Ballads, and it's just gorgeous. And then she's got a record that I really fall in love with every single fall called The Young Man in America. Bjork, you know, some of her stuff as we get further into winter, and Radiohead. I usually fall in love, back in love with their middle career catalog. Yeah, and I'm always, you know, on the perpetuating of new music. I love taking all that stuff. But I also, you know, fall in love with Chet Baker every single year. I'm forever falling in love with his voice. And I'm forgetting, you know, the swath of classical music and jazz music out there as well. Right. Steve Reich is my go-to for classical music. Minimalism in the 1960s, 1970s. I fall into that category all the time. It's actually kind of like it's.
Did you listen to, by any chance, do you have the Colm concert, Keith Jarrett's album? That was one of my, this is not about me, but just quickly, that was one of my go-to albums in college. If I was feeling really particularly melancholy, I would just kind of hum. You know how he hums along?
I was just out of key all the time. Nasally.
He does it kind of like Glenn Gould does it with the Bach variations, where he kind of you can hear him. Yeah, it's off-putting at first, and then you get used to it, and you get into it, and you kind of feel like, because it pulls you into the human part of it. Because when you're listening to that music, you can get it. It can feel detached and almost. It's soulful, but almost mechanistic because it's Bach. But when you hear him, and then you realize there's a guy sitting there playing this stuff.
It's not
that's
a computer.
Really hard. Yeah. All right. So if a movie was made about Sean Morin's life, what genre would it be? And now you've given me some clues about what it might be. But anyway,
what genre would it be?
What genre would it be? And
genre.
Sean. Oh, good. That's good. What genre would it be, and who do you think they'd cast as you, or who would you like to have cast as you?
Wow, I forgot about this question.
Oh no, this is the best one.
This is a good one, yeah.
And oftentimes I will actually come up with answers for people because I like to do you're like a combination between so and so and so and so. But
do you have one for me?
I know. I shouldn't have even said that.
Connor Garvey should play me.
Okay.
It's on you, Connor.
Okay, Connor is going to play, but Connor had Brad Pitt.
Oh, right, Brad Pitt. Right. No, then he brought it down to like Wes Anderson, talking about Wes Anderson.
I love Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I feel like it would be sort of like, you know, one of the, but man, can we get past that? Can we get past that? Maybe it's a documentary and it would be super boring and no one would want to go see it and I would play me. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. You get another chance at this. I'm going to think while you're thinking.
Oh, you know who's got a great film coming out right now, and I just referenced him. So there's a film being made on about Chet Baker's life, and Ethan Hawke is playing him.
Really?
I love Ethan Hawke. I love him.
Okay, so Ethan Hawke could play you.
Ethan Hawke. I'm going to ask Ethan Hawke.
Ethan.
Can
Man, it's getting warm in here.
Sean
I'm going to
Morin?
take a second and put my hair up. Sorry.
And maybe it would be like a...
there we go.
Like one of those like magical realist movies where it's like, you know, quasi like mundane, factual everyday life, and then some magical thing happens with some, you know, your job or something that's allegorical to like, you know, this cookie and how amazing it is, but maybe some amazing
and then I think
otherworldly thing.
And I think you should do the soundtrack, obviously.
Okay, I can get that with that.
And then I think you should have part of it be animation.
Yes.
Maybe claymation. Like, because you know how they're getting really good at claymation right now? So it could be you, and then it could be a claymation you.
I like that.
Yeah. We're creating a
genre. Will you be my producer?
Sure, yeah. We're creating a genre right now. All right, so once again, this has been Gingersnap. I'm Lisa Redfern, and I forgot to bring a copy of my new CD, but I do have to mention that it came out on Monday, and it will be available soon on my website and on cdbaby.com, and I'm very excited about that. And you can get in contact with Sean at seanmorinmusic.com. Please come to the Frontier for shows and events and stay in touch with them. You can go to explorefrontier.com and find out about that stuff. And what else? Yeah, Gingersnap is a conversation and a cookie with a creative Mainer, and we have a really creative Mainer here today. And our cookie came from, once again, this is all that's left of it. Just, no, come back. Oh. This is all that's left of it. And this is from the Union Street Bakery and Cafe on Union Street here in Brunswick. And all right, everybody, have a good day. And I will be gone next week because I'm going to sing in Nantucket for Memorial Day weekend, but I'll be back in June. Okay, Sean, thank you. You've been Gingersnapped. Do you feel different?
I feel like I've been Gingersnapped.
Okay,
Thank
there you go. Bye. This has been Gingersnap.